A state line theater teacher closes the curtain on her 35-year career at Roscoe Middle School.
WYFR's Bria Walters sits down with Missy Middleton to talk about her time teaching and the school's upcoming play.
It is going to be really bittersweet.
The spotlight dims in June. Theater teacher Missy Middleton prepares to take her final bow after 35 years at Roscoe Middle School.
Since I was 7 years old, started at Starlight Theater, and I never wanted to be an actor for a profession. I always wanted to be a teacher.
She built the theater program from the ground up, even directing the school's first musical.
Before I started directing, we just always did plays. So our very first musical was Snoopy.
To her, teaching was always in the plan, but she says she's ready for new adventures.
I might go do some directing somewhere or learn something brand new.
A full circle moment. Cassidy Eady goes from Middleton's student to taking her place in the director's chair.
My first year as an ELA teacher at the school, and she kind of helped and lead me to that.
And it's not just Eady. Assistant director Sierra Weaver will be along for the ride.
She's been great about just kind of handing over the torch and teaching us everything she can.
Middleton's final curtain call is this year's production of Matilda Jr.
Matilda is a good one for me to go out on a positive note.
Middleton calls her career rewarding and reflects on those who have crossed her path.
My former students have become friends, babysitters, just mentors, so it's just been really important to me.
In Roscoe, Bria Walters, WYFR News.
Middleton says she hopes people come out to see Matilda March 6th and 7th at 7, and it's on Sunday. Matinee will be at 2.